holy crap, dude, you're going to be a dad. Like, where do you even start? There's appointments to make. There's stuff to do around the house. Like, I wish somebody would make a video about like what to do. Well, don't worry. I've done this before. We're about to do it again here in about a month. So I've got you. Hi, everybody. I'm Alex Albisu. I'm a podcaster. I'm a father. And I've spent the past few years talking to experts and parents from around the world on my podcast called The Dad Chronicle. And just like you, I was freaking out at the thought of, oh my God, I'm going to be a dad. Like, where do I start? And I went through all that a few years ago with my daughter. Since then, I feel like I've learned a lot, and I've also heard a lot of perspectives from other parents about this anxiety that comes up. And we're about to experience this again when our son comes in about a month. So I wanted to take just a little bit of time to share some of the things that I am doing to help alleviate that stress. 5 steps that I'm taking to prepare for this baby. Now, before we get started, I want to make sure that you do a couple of things. Make sure you subscribe and like this video so that others can find it, and share it if there's anybody else out there that you think would benefit from it. Another thing that you should do is check out this link right here where Deanna, my wife, who's expecting to give birth to our son here in the next month or so, talks about what's really important from her perspective as the expecting partner in this case. It's a really good companion piece to this video. So we recorded an episode of the Dad Chronicle. The link to that is up here in the top left corner. All right, so let's start with the basics. You know you're pregnant. Awesome. So what do you do? How does this whole like birthing thing work? Now I'm going to tell you something about classes. Birthing classes, I think, are worth it. We had a really funny experience with when our daughter was born and Deanna was pregnant with Aria. We went into that birthing class, and it was kind of like a one-day boot camp where you do all the things that you kind of see in the videos. Like you're handed a baby, and you kind of like learn some of the basics, and you have different hands-on experiences, not with real babies, obviously, but that whole experience was good. The teacher started out, though, in a way that kind of caught me off guard. She said, I don't want to say you wasted your money on this class, but by the time you get into that delivery room, your body will do all the work for you and your instincts will kick in. You'll know exactly what to do. Now, that said, guys, if you've never seen a video of a baby being born or anything like that, I don't know if you're queasy or anything. I'm not really queasy or anything, but seeing a video of what happens there and kind of getting your mind ready for what your wife or your partner is about to endure, I think is a really good state of mind. And it's good for your own mental state going into that situation. So hear me out. You're going to see a lot of things, various fluids. That's all I'll say. Use your imagination. And the birthing class kind of takes all that head on. Yeah, I think that's the phrase. But at the end of the day, it is worth it because it gives you kind of a glimpse into what you're going to be encountering on that day. And even beyond that, some more even practical things. They kind of teach you what you can do to be supportive of your partner on that day, which we'll get to here in just a little bit. So yes, I think birthing classes are worth it. Again, you might go in there and be like, why am I wasting my money? Because if my body's going to know exactly what it's supposed to do and all that stuff. But for me, the preparedness of everything up here, just knowing what was going to happen and seeing the visuals of it ahead of time was kind of helpful for my own state of mind. So the second thing, be sensitive to your partner's needs. This is also kind of a no-brainer, but a lot of the times we're not present enough in our day-to-day to realize that perhaps we're not paying as close attention to what our partner needs at that time. Here's what I mean. Your partner is going to get bigger, right? Like she's going to have a large ball thing growing out of her belly that happens to contain a baby. That means she's not going to be as mobile as she used to be. So if she's used to doing stuff around the house, like my wife really kind of enjoys doing stuff and being active, she's going to get kind of frustrated and you will have to pick up the slack. Deanna and I have a way of kind of getting things done around the house. Typically, like I do a lot of the cooking and stuff kind of in the kitchen, and Deanna does some of the laundry and so on and so forth. So when Deanna is trying to do the laundry, if she drops a sock, it's game over, dude. Have you seen a pregnant woman try to pick up a sock? It's heartbreaking. She has to almost sit down in order to pick that thing up. So look out for what your partner needs. It could be anything from picking up that sock to simply, you know, if she's tired, which happens a lot because she's growing a kid inside of her. If she's tired, find that thing that she normally does. So like I will go and do the laundry, for instance. I'm not going to claim, by the way, I'm perfect at all of this. There are times where I realize I need to pick up the slack where perhaps I haven't been as on top of things as I need to be. But the biggest thing is communication and really that self-awareness. Find what your partner does on a day-to-day basis to contribute to your family life. Figure out how you can jump in and help. And one other trick to this, we talked about this on that episode that I just told you about that we recorded for the Dad Chronicle. The way you approach it is everything. For instance, if you go to your wife and you're like, hey, stop doing that thing, you're pregnant, you shouldn't be lifting all those things. You know what a pregnant wife like my wife would say? Screw you, I'm gonna do it anyway. Instead, approaching it with a lot more collaboration in mind is really helpful. Try using phrases like, how can I help? When you're inserting yourself in a way that is a lot more collaborative, your partner is going to be way more receptive, especially if they're like my wife, who is really driven and stubborn. And I love her so much. The third thing is to prepare. Again, common sense, but it's all in the details, guys. For instance, I don't know about you guys, but I didn't know that we didn't get fed. And when I say we, I mean like me, the partner not giving birth. We don't get fed at the hospital. So I ended up having to pack some food and some other things, go to the vending machine, go to the cafeteria there. Deanna had all of her food there, brought up by the cafeteria. I'd nibble on it here and there if she wasn't going to eat something. But otherwise, partners out there who are not giving birth, you're out there to kind of fend for yourself. So make sure that you pack ahead, find snacks that are healthy and can sustain you for a long period of time. Something that's filling, like oatmeal bars or something packed with some protein perhaps to kind of keep you filled. The idea is that you want to have that energy to be there to support your partner during this day. Also, this is something that we heard from a friend of ours and we did it, and I love this idea. Do a dry run of your drive to the hospital or your birthing center or wherever you're going to go, your bathtub if you're doing it at home. This is not really meant for that because you just walk. Anyway, take a dry run drive to the hospital. Nothing is worse than dealing with the hecticness of that day and not knowing where you're going. Make sure that you know ahead of time, either map it out on Google Maps, use your GPS, bring out one of those paper maps if you're still doing that. Figure out where you're going, the logistics for that day, where you go in the hospital to get to the maternity ward, maternity ward. Yeah, where they're having the babies. You know what I mean. Make sure that you know the layout so that you guys can get there ASAP. You'd be surprised how quickly things start to escalate. That will help you with sort of your state of mind, having a very clear mission and objective at that time. You can't go wrong. Now let's talk about the day of the delivery and what you can do. But before we even talk about that, it's important that you set expectations with your partner. Before the big day, it's really, really, really important that you have a very honest conversation with your partner about what their expectations of you are and what your role is going to be that day. For instance, do they even want you in the room? I can't imagine that somebody wouldn't want you in the room. Deanna wants me in the room. I'm pretty sure I can't think of anybody that doesn't want their partner in the room, but you know, there are outliers out there and I want to respect that. But the point is that you want to respect how your partner wants you to engage with them. So do they want you in the room? Do they want you helping them with the delivery process to hold their leg, for instance? Who's catching the baby? Are you going to be there to grab the baby as it's coming out along with the doctor? Who's cutting the umbilical cord? Who gets to hold the baby first? There's a lot of things to consider, but here's what it ultimately comes down to. Have a conversation, an honest conversation with your partner. Just lay it all out. The things I talked about, the things that might be on your mind. And this is a continuing, evolving conversation, by the way. You might not have this conversation in its completion in one sitting, and that's okay. The purpose is to be on the same page as them. And also, let's talk about a little bit of an elephant in the room. Do you stay north of the border or not? So again, I think this comes down to expectation setting, and in all seriousness, and just to give my own perspective on this, I thought it was a beautiful mess, everything that was going on down there, and I watched, and I thought it was one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen. If you don't get queasy, if you don't pass out, I would encourage you to watch what happens during those first moments of your child entering the world. It really is a miracle, honestly. Like, it's crazy. It's gross. It's crazy, but it's cool. It's gross. It's gross, but it's cool. Now your baby is in your arms, healthy, happy family, and you guys got to go home. You got to do this whole thing by yourself. There's a lot of emotions on that day, and it continues to be pretty stressful at home. The first thing that you should really consider for the sake of your partner is really what you can do to help them relax. Remember how we talked about all the house chores and anything that you guys were splitting and that you were trying to take over for them? Continue doing that. There is something that happens with a mother and their baby those very first few weeks where that bond is really important. Not to say that the bond of the partner, of you in this case, isn't important, but there is something to be said, especially if they're going to be breastfeeding and stuff. Having that attachment to the mother is really important, but it's also taxing on the mother. So everything that you can do to take that pressure off of them is going to be really important. Also, leverage your support systems. We're lucky enough to have both my parents and Deanna's parents close by. Ow, I just cracked my finger. So when we absolutely need a break, I think something showed up from Amazon. Echo, turn off notifications.
Okay. To turn off notifications, go to the settings page in the
Echo,
Alexa app.
clear my notifications.
Delete all your notifications, right?
Yes.
Okay. Deleted your notifications.
The fact that we can call on both sets of our parents to help us on any sort of situation that we need, it's a blessing. And honestly, I know that there are a lot of people out there that don't have that sort of luxury. That said, you have friends who I'm sure would be very willing to come over and help. Also, going back to the topic of expectation settings, make sure that you talk to them about what they would be expecting to do if they were to help. Set expectations with your friends ahead of time. Take that burden off of your partner. By having those expectations set of, hey, I might need you to grab the groceries. I might need you to help mow the lawn. Damn, I keep cracking my finger. Whatever other errands that you need to do, it's just really important to have those expectations set up ahead of time so that they're not just coming over and holding the baby. If you need them to come over and hold the baby, cool. Like, that's cool, but just set that expectation ahead of time. So those are some things that I have personally been doing as we're approaching this baby coming here in the next month. There's still a lot to do, but at least that kind of gives you some guidelines so that eventually what I want you to do is just create a checklist like we talked about in that episode that Deanna and I had together on the Dad Chronicle. By having a clear set of tasks and goals set up, you will be in really good shape for making sure that you're ready to go when that kid comes. Now, there are going to be some things that come up that you have no idea how to handle. And you're like, Alex didn't talk about this. What's going on? It's going to happen. At the end of the day, you're going to be okay. But at least you're thinking ahead of time about what is important to take care of and how you prioritize the right things to prepare your family for this big change. Also, let's end on a bit of a mindset discussion. Partners who are not giving birth, it's important to talk about your own feelings during this time and your attachment to the baby that's coming into the world. I've talked to a lot of dads on the Dad Chronicle who have expressed that their first reaction and experience with their child was a little surprising. And when I say surprising, it's almost like they were describing sort of a lack of feeling of love, attachment, whatever it might be to that child. You could even go back and listen to my conversation with Steven Adams, who was talking about a very chaotic birth and delivery of his son and how he didn't really have that honeymoon phase. I would encourage you to listen to his story as he kind of tackles that. I promise you, you will eventually feel that immense love for your child, and it will come. But your focus right now is on making sure that your baby and your partner and your family are happy and healthy. You have a very big role to play here, and especially during COVID, because COVID's a thing, and now you're bringing a new baby into the world with COVID. This is something that I've been thinking a lot about. I have to be able to have my 3.5-year-old daughter happy and healthy and safe, my wife, who's pregnant, happy and healthy and safe, my new son, happy, healthy, and safe, still get stuff done around the house. You see where I'm going with this? Mindset is tremendously important. So I would encourage you to do everything you can to prepare your mind for what is going to come. There's a lot to do. I get it. Do the best you can. At the end of the day, if you can say that you did the best you can, you got nothing to worry about. So if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe to this channel and like the video. And if you have any other things that you want to add to this list, or you would recommend that people take into consideration if they're a first-time dad, make sure you leave them in the comments below. Also, let me know if there's any other topic that you want me to cover in a YouTube video like this. I'm always open to some feedback. And just a reminder, if you've been listening to the podcast, you know that we have a brand new Patreon set up, so you can become a patron and support what we do here at the Dad Chronicle by heading over to supportadad.com. There's a bunch of merch in different levels where you can get merch. It's really cool, and different rewards that make sense for a variety of different levels. So find one that works for you. Even $1 a month goes a long way to the support of the production costs that go behind this show. Thanks for taking the time to watch. And remember, you got this. Be good to yourself and be good to others. We'll see you next time.